Hello and welcome to the Gemini New Moon activation. I'm Adrienne Elise. Thank you so much for joining me on this very, very powerful day. I was just reading an astrology report and someone was saying, treat this new moon like your life depended on it. And indeed, with Mars and Scorpio in a grand mutable cross, the sun and the moon come together on a new moon in Gemini and right there with Venus. So these are this grand T-square that's been going on in mutable signs has been happening for about 6 months, in and out, these planets coming in. That's Neptune at home in Pisces, and Saturn in Sagittarius, and Jupiter and the North Node. They're together again over in Virgo. And so these are big generational planets that move slow. And so this cross has been going on and on. But these faster moving planets, the sun and the moon and Venus coming together right there, is actually triggering, activating. So this new moon activation is like the activation of 2016. And so make sure that you, even on the replay, come back and get this activation, because it's a perfect opportunity to align yourself with your most appropriate timeline. We have a strange thing going on with time right now. There's all these adjustments, and that's exactly what the mutable energy is. It's constant adjustment, and the decisions are changeable. And the big factor in this mutable cross is Saturn Square Neptune, bringing this energy of reality versus delusions, or illusions and dreams versus reality. There's a huge energy of disclosure in the world right now, and this Mars and Scorpio is speaking to that, as far as having a retrograde, spending so long in Scorpio, all of May and all of June, all of June and all of July in Scorpio. It goes back into Sagittarius after it turns direct on June 30th. It goes back into Sagittarius on August 3rd. So the resolution of this whole period of time right now, this retrograde season, isn't going to come until mid-August, when Mars returns to its pre-retrograde position, and then Saturn goes direct in September. And so that's when we're really going to start to see what all this is about. In the meantime, try not to worry about it. Things are changing so fast. It's like, okay, well, this is what was true for me this morning, and tonight it's completely different. It's revelation. It's the veil is being removed before our eyes. And what is this? It's the veil of duality, this duality consciousness, that all of the programming and energies that have kept us in our evolution have to do with keeping us in duality consciousness. And so it's interesting, because what's going to get us out of it is actually the intensity of this duality consciousness right now, where things are being revealed. And it used to be that people and experiences, you had to kind of sort through things to be able to figure out where people really stood. And right now, with this blooming, it's getting more and more clear what's really going on in the true motives of people. So we've been duped as a culture, and the disclosure that's trying to happen on planet Earth about the truth of how we've been hidden from our true abilities, and hidden from the truth of our history, and of the extraterrestrial energies that have been involved in our planet's evolution. So all of this is coming in. There's a lot of deception and a lot of damaging, abusive lies, and horrible things that have happened to many people because of this that's gone on for so long. Now, this is in our subconscious, and the disclosure, what does it mean to come to the truth of the reality of situation, of what's really going on in our personal life, the disclosure, because that's where it really starts, the disclosure of truth. And that's seeing people for who they really are, seeing ourselves for who we really are, seeing that duality within, recognizing the patterns are just so clear and so strong. And so it's going to be more and more evident. The distortions are coming to the surface. They can't hide underneath anymore. And this is a beautiful thing, and it's a freeing thing. It might feel really tight and squeezy right now, particularly if you have any big energies and mutable signs in your chart, you're definitely getting triggered. And also Mars and is really getting triggered right now, and Scorpio. So if you have strong energies of those in your chart, it's just a really intense time. But for everybody, we're just getting squeezed, and we're getting just, it's like, it's that point of contraction where the truth can't hide anymore. It's popping out like a zit, you know? And so this grand mutable cross, these planets have been in this T-square holding down this energy of like, you guys, we've got to adjust. We don't know exactly the way forward, but we have to adjust to our surroundings. We have to see the truth clearly before we can really move forward. We have to face our delusions and our illusions. And so that's all going on, the collective consciousness, especially with Pisces at home, Neptune at home and Pisces involved there, and these big generational planets. And now the sun and the moon and Venus come in, and just for a day, they're right there together. Bing. This is an activation right here, right now, of this grand mutable cross, and it's happening in Gemini, the sun and the moon, the sign of the twins. And so we're talking about this duality within, and we're talking about our outward self and our inward self, and reconciling the truth. And so it's coming really clear to people, the patterns of negativity that have been latent in our subconscious and in the our whole collective consciousness. They have to come to the surface in order to move forward. So what's happening in your life right now is the perfect circumstances coming together in the perfect way, really clear, like the writings on the wall of these patterns. But it's like, okay, here you go. This is a really excruciating experience to maybe go and relive and experience these patterns that have been dogging you for this whole lifetimes. So we're talking core issues with that Mars and Scorpio. And it's really about, with Mars in Scorpio and going retrograde, it's really about how do we fight for it? How do we really make it happen? How do we live our truth? How do we actualize ourselves in this new age? And the male going out and fighting for it isn't working so much anymore. We need to talk about it. We need to understand the truth so that we can find these places in our subconscious that are like, keep creating these old patterns, and it's like a trigger, and we just get caught in this loop. And so now with this grand cross, we're having this massive opportunity to be like, hey, wow, this is really obvious to me right now. And I think that it's time finally for me to choose not to recreate this pattern anymore. And it feels like a lot of these patterns feel like they're so powerful in our subconscious that we don't have control over them. And that's the whole energy of this time. We have not been autonomous as human beings on this planet. We've been absolutely manipulated and deceived about the truth. And it's time for us to come back into our autonomy. And so when we are doing this and we're finding these patterns come up, and this right now, this powerful moment in time in history of June 2016 is this grand mutable cross, that puzzle piece coming in, the sun, the moon, the identity, our duality and our identity are at issue, and our emotions. And then Venus, the goddess, is right there in Gemini, saying that, you know, especially on the heels of that Mercury retrograde in Taurus last month, we're being called to understand the role of the goddess right now. Venus has been in the underworld, hidden behind the sun, but comes back just this next week into being an evening star. And so the goddess is returning to us. The goddess is coming back into our lives. Can we let her in? You know, and so that Mercury retrograde in Taurus was really about opening up to the role of our connection to Mother Earth, to our oneness, to the truth, to grounding out in this reality. What reality? The reality of love. And that is what we're here to do. And so what's not loving in yourself, in others, in your situations, your relationships, your jobs, that is going to be coming really clear. And so those people right now who are the people who have let themselves be trampled in this world are going to be seeing beyond clear that the boundaries that they need to place, and they're going to be having exact situations come forward to give those opportunities time to come forward and happen. And so it's just a huge time of like, today I feel this way, tonight I feel different, but now I know for sure. So the thing about the mutable signs, when we're working with this mutable cross energy, it's not a good time to really make decisions or take a bunch of action, especially with Mars retrograde in Scorpio. But things are still happening. They're always happening. And so it's like, if you do have decisions that you're making and you're and there is forward motion that's trying to happen, but you just don't know what way to go because you're in this mutable energy, wait until it's really clear. You just be like, well, okay, I could make a decision right now, but I could just wait until it's really clear, because the energy right now, the astrology is it's going to make it really clear. It might seem completely nebulous right now in this moment, but tomorrow morning it might be completely clear, and then act on it. Take action that's only coming from massive clarity right now. You're just like, I know this is what I need to do. Otherwise, let these things balance and work out in this immutable energy, just being flexible. It's like humanity has survived to this point for being adaptable. And it's kind of interesting because it's like we're being asked to adapt now in a huge way to these energetic shifts and changes on the planet. The sun is giving us messages. We are awakening. This is our spiritual awakening, and the energies around us. Time is changing. And this is what I'm really seeing for this. 2016 is like an opportunity to, it's like we're going to start having these instances, these energies, these gateways, these portals where you can be like, okay, I'm hopping onto the next dimension. I am going to step out. The way we step out of those patterns that keep repeating is at first we come to clarity, we face them, we say, okay, I got to look at the truth of this, because I can't change it or move forward until I look at the truth of it. So that's a big part of this Saturn square Neptune. And then of course, squaring Jupiter and in the North Node there in that cross. And so Jupiter and the North Node are about expanding to our future. What direction? How are we moving forward into our expansion of the truth of who we are? And so in Virgo, it means discrimination. So we're seeing the truth. We're learning to say no and have those boundaries, and we're waiting for the clear indications. We're being flexible. We don't get to push forward and have that like, I'm going to go attack this and make this happen. You know, that is kind of like this Mars retrograde in 2016 and our time that's shifting and changing right now so much. It's like Mars is getting a makeover, and Mars, the warrior that's just going to go out and make it happen, it's like is feeling impotent because that way doesn't work anymore. We're coming into balance with the goddess. You know, we're going to try to do it what's best for everyone. Can you imagine that? This is the shift we're trying to make on the planet. What if we all start coming from that place? And yet you can't do that. You can't do what's best for everyone unless you are willing to take care of yourself. So this is a huge time for self-nurturing, of pulling in your energies on this new moon and this mutable cross and being like, you know, I fed all of this around me, and now it's time to own this for myself right now, and to just nourish myself and just hold tight and just be present and just be here for this powerful moment, and seeing that clarity come, seeing the decisions so clear, when they're so clear that you can't not do it anymore. And this could be years in the making. This could be like 10 years in the making, almost 8 years, and these patterns started. And so it's like all of a sudden it's clear, and it might be like bam, 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 where you have situations that have the same issue coming up one after another or parallel, being like, here you go, we're going to lay it out on the table for you. This is what you've been missing. This has been the rock in your shoe. And Saturn in Scorpio led us into the shadow, but we could only face so much at that time. Now we're stronger. We're more oriented within the truth of who we are, with that Uranus activation in Aries, kind of being like, okay, I'm getting more comfortable with my wider view of things in the world. And now I can face that shadow a little easier and not take it personally, because we all have it. And I want to get it out. I want to get it out, and I want to bring it to the light of day and bring it into that disclosure. You know, so disclosure is all of us. bringing any nitty-gritty into the light of day, but there's deep trauma and repression in the collective. That's that Neptune in Pisces is really speaking to that, because Pisces is the age we're coming out of that just had so much treachery around this false god energy, and so much pain and torture and horrible things that humanity did to each other. And we've got this like trauma, the collective trauma, that's keeping us from moving forward. And so now, so it's really difficult when you have trauma but you don't know the source of it. And then it's even hard to even know you have trauma. A lot of people in this world have some PTSD, but they can't even get to the source of that PTSD. And so now that's all coming to the surface. So it's not really pretty, but it's really refreshing, and it feels better to have it better out than in, as homeopaths say. And so you want to let it come to the surface so that it can wash away. Use the Scorpio energy to just wash away. Now, Gemini in this new moon and sun is really wanting to figure it all out, wanting to think about it, wanting to analyze. But it's like Gemini Mercury is getting reoriented in this time shift too. It's like we don't get to know everything. We have to just sit with it. We have to just wonder. We have to say, well, is it this or is it this? I don't know. Is it up to me to know? Is it my job to know? Because I don't know anything. The more I figure out each day, the more I figure out I don't know anything. And that is the time that we're in right now. And it's amazing, because just think about mid to late August, when you've gotten these pieces, you've gotten that timeline alignment that we're going to work on today in the activation, aligning you with the optimal. So when the things are coming up that are like, whoa, those patterns are so powerful, but they're so clear and I can't avoid it anymore, then you can see so clearly what it is that you don't want. And it's like, what I'm seeing in people is this kind of cool thing. It's like boomeranging them back into the other side, where they're actually entertaining. They feel more deserving of optimal, because they're like, what? I've been letting this go on, and I didn't even know that I didn't have a boundary here, and this isn't okay, and I wasn't being, respected in this world on whatever level. And then it's like, or this relationship or this job or whatever, and then it's like, oh, that makes me think, just it's like you're getting so frustrated with the way that is wrong that you can finally start to resonate at right. And so again, we're mutable, so we don't know what's right and wrong for us. It's changing every day, but we're starting to be able to entertain and feel more deserving of the support of the universe, and feeling this vibrational alignment in our life. So this is a timeline reset. The timeline reset, you have to go somewhere on your timeline and find the feeling, the energy, the expression when you had a lifetime where it's like quantum leaping, because if all time is happening right now, we can go anywhere. And so we're going to do that today in the guided meditation activation, and we're going to move to this point on your timeline, and maybe we'll pick a few points to examine. But where you felt absolutely fulfilled in your expression of the truth of who you are on planet Earth in a body, there is a time out there. And so also, people are finding underneath their trauma and underneath all of the shadow and underneath all of that work that we've been doing is these precious gifts. And so we're also going to be resetting to a time when we had access and permission to express those gifts. Not only that, but what about the people around us being so appreciative and thankful of these gifts? And this has been hard for us, because these gifts in our society, in our world, the truth of who we really are and what we bring into this world that really matters, has no value in this Babylonian money magic system. But it's like in the true energy of the universe, that's the only worth, is these gifts that we've developed, these energies inside of ourselves, the way creation wants to express through us individually. And so it's like we've developed this over time, and this is what we get to take with us. We don't want all of the trauma and the programming and all of that. But it has been lifetimes of repeating patterns. And that's one hard thing. It's like, okay, why is this pattern coming up again? But it's like, we have come here on Earth, this Earth evolution, to complete some stuff. And here we are in a 9-year, 2016 is a 9-year. And so those of us who have been focused on this work are ready to drop it. And it's hard because it's hard to see that because you've been working so hard at it and feeling so like I was finally getting somewhere. And then this last month, last few weeks, everything just hit the fan again, you know? And so it's okay. It's like it's like the last bloom before moving into a whole new way of being, because literally in mid-August you could feel like bam, catapulted onto this new timeline that's in alignment with what you're now finally ready to entertain for yourself. The optimal in your life that you're ready to finally entertain. And it goes from this, like, say a relationship where it's like, well, you know, it's better than it has been. And it's like, this is what's been going on for the last few years for people in their situations. Like, well, the job, it's not bothering me as much this week, you know, it's da 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 da. It's like, okay, so it's not quite as traumatic as it was before, you know, because there has been some healing and some harmonizing. But go ahead and put that next to optimal. Let yourself vibrationally tune in to what would be really optimal, like what would be so supportive in your life, that relationship, that job, that community, that universal feeling of universal support. And we're going to work on that, opening up to that and feeling our worthiness and deservedness for that as well today in the activation. But that's a really different picture than what most of us are living. You know, that truly satisfying life where you love what you're doing all day long. It's hard for us to even imagine. But why don't we start? Why don't we start entertaining optimal? We don't get to decide how to move forward. We don't get to decide exactly what it looks like, but we can resonate with the feeling. And that's what today's activation is about, is quantum jumping into the places on your timeline to find within yourself where you resonate at the optimal experience and letting yourself be released into universal acceptance and connection, feeling held by the universe and supported in this adventure. Often in this Mars retrograde is really making people feel like they're working against, you know, it's like, oh, things are just like, what? Why can't I just like work out? It's like one thing after another, and life becomes a drudgery and it's heavy. And the shift that's available here from going back into this pattern is to say no. Say no more to the rat race, no more to giving up my personal peace, no more to accommodating to the energies around me. I'm going to start living now. I'm going to start having this life that resonates with the truth of what I'm here to do. People are getting fed up, and it's a good thing, because this is the energy of the squares. These are all 90-degree angles between these planets, and squares have the most tension. We talked about this. We just came out of 3 years of cardinal crosses, and now we've got a mutable cross, and cardinal signs are about starting and instigating. And now we're in the mutable because we kind of started it, but we were so clueless, and we still are so clueless. We've got these hidden traumas. Once you see the trauma and know the trauma, it's a lot easier to reconcile in your being. But if you can't find the source of the trauma, then those patterns just keep playing out again and again, and we get actually like addicted to them. And that's these patterns, just like almost like, oh, it's happening again. But part of us is just like, oh, well, that's good, because now I feel home and at safe, because at least this pattern's happening, and then it reminds me of who I am. But that's not who you are. That's your identity. That's only the latest version of you. You are an expression of the cosmic divine source of everything that is God. And so for us to be identifying with these parts of ourselves that don't feel good enough, feel inadequate, are not feeling worthy of that cosmic connection, and not living up to the expectations of this world or the people around us, that's all a false self. So part of the activation today is allowing our awareness and our attention to go to the true self, and understand that a lot of it can just really help you with the drama right now, because the drama is an expression of the past, a big blooming of core issues over lifetimes, and it's going to be messy for most people right now. It's like shit's coming up. If it's not coming up, then, you know, that's weird. And so it's coming up. And so then we have this opportunity to see a different way. So today's activation is about using this mutable cross energy to see a different way and to reset to a different way. Now, this is why I feel like this day is so potent and powerful for 2016, because the grand square, I mean, usually you'll get a square and it's within a few degrees, but these are all within like 1 degree of each other. This is like, bam, it is the universe speaking with precise clarity, right? So this is what you can bring into your life, even though it's immutable, the big picture of like, oh, I have been completely manipulated by this situation, that's becoming clear. And so working with this cross energy, you can see how it's like a wheel of time, you know, or the 4 directions. It's the world, it's this mutable cross. And so this activation of these planets coming together, the personal planets just locking in like a key. And what this key is changing our relationship with time. As we move in dimensional frequencies, the main thing that starts to happen is your relationship to time. And this can be really disconcerting when you feel like you can't keep up with time, or time is passing in ways, or there's blips in time, or your memory is not lining up. This is often situations of like you're moving timelines, you're moving dimensional frequencies. And so the whole energy of 3rd dimensional reality, which we're leaving now, has to do with, yes, time is as a beginning and an end, and it's in pieces, and we can just keep all nice and organized, and it's not really like that. And so it's fractaled and layered and spiraled. And so what we're doing right now, the work we're doing is just reverberating infinitesimally in these core issues through our whole timeline. And so this shift of these mutable planets in the square just got 90-degree turn. You're at the corner. There's no choice here. This mutable cross right now in the sky at this new moon today on June 4th and then 5th, wherever you're on the planet, and 2016 is about surrendering into a new relationship with time, surrendering into the higher dimensional frequencies, and surrendering into your most appropriate timeline. And so it can feel a lot like letting go, falling off a cliff, or having the rug pulled out from under you right now, because we have learned that time is really what makes us feel secure in this world. And isn't it interesting that most of us have given our life away to time, to this time-space continuum? Time is money, as Cartron says, reality. And so it's time and stress of time that keeps us from the present moment. And the present moment is all we really have, because everything that's happening and has ever happened and will ever happen is happening right now in the time-space continuum. And so when we are chasing time and racing after time, we are not living. We're not being present in present time. And so this is the huge shift that's coming for people. And so this grand mutable cross really is just like, hey, you want to hop on this merry-go-round and go take it to the next level? Because those of us who are ready to surrender into a new way of being, this is when the universe comes to meet you and is working with you. And the universe is expressing itself through you. You are life, living. And so then your relationship with time completely changes, because you're being held and carried by the universal energies. And so this is the higher dimensional frequencies. And at first, when you're letting go, coming up against these stresses, and a lot of times it can feel like depression, squeezing this energy. It's right before you shift into the next place. It's right before you let go to a completely lighter way of being. That heaviness is lower dimensional frequencies, and the energies, the density of the people around you. As you move into these higher dimensional frequencies, life feels lighter. You feel more space. You feel supported and held in this experience. And so right now we're going back and forth, and this is the most difficult times that people are encountering. Know that if you feel in that place, just completely squeezed, uncomfortable in your body, spirit, and soul, that is the ego personality death occurring. It is just right before you break through to the other side and feel way lighter and have a huge different perspective on what's really going on here on the planet, and get on the train of the excitement of creating this new world that we're creating, this opportunity, amazing opportunity we have to change our dimensional frequency in a body, creating this golden age, and the potential of Mother Earth Gaia coming into her full potential. And so there's a lot of work to do, but it's going to be super exciting journey as soon as we can clear these shadowy places in our subconscious that keep sucking us back into the trauma patterns. Because we are not our trauma, it's just something we've experienced. And so we're having a big soul shakedown right now. And it's like, in order to make that shift on the wheel into that lighter way of being, into the higher dimensional frequencies, into that connection with the universe, you've got to let go of the dross matter, the heaviness, as alchemists would call it, the dross, the more material part of your soul spirit. And that's what Mars retrograde in Scorpio is all about, is just drudging up the heaviness, drudging up the past, drudging up all the places that you thought were resolved but remain unresolved. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful time. And I'm just really appreciative of you spending this time with me, either live or on the replay. The energy is encoded into the activation. So you can get this new moon in Gemini grand mutable cross activation anytime in the month of June. It's going to be really beneficial for you, and go back and listen to it again. So on that note, let's get started. Go ahead and get comfortable and allow yourself to come into that precious, precious, beautiful, most powerful commodity of this now moment. We're starting to see the truth of things, where we could pile up all the money we want, but if we can't stop and be, what is it worth? Nothing. So the invisible that has not been able to be valued in this split consciousness duality is now starting to be valued. And that's the goddess, the feminine, coming in and saying, hey, let's value this. Let's think about this. Gemini wants us to consider letting the goddess back into our lives, which means peace and surrender, and love, compassion, first for ourselves before we can give it to anyone else. Just go ahead and breathe in that energy. Feel the goddess Venus with the sun and the moon coming together. They're the key to the door that's opening into the higher dimensional frequencies, and you are on the ride, taking advantage of it right here, right now. So just feel yourself connecting in with Mother Earth Gaia from your root chakra at the base of your spine. Just inviting a cosmic connection, but with Mother Earth Gaia, to feel yourself held and supported. Gravity coming up to meet you at the base of your spine. Feel your whole lower part of your body just relax and release and come into resonant frequency with Mother Earth. Just feel your whole being just release into this communication. Mother Earth Gaia is a living being, not just a planet or a rock. She is leading the way in her transformation. So in our journey here is harmonized and happens most effectively when we are in communication with Mother Earth Gaia. It's just taking a few deep breaths and feeling that, just breathing with Mother Earth Gaia. Mother Earth Gaia and all molecules have an electromagnetic field around them. And so we also have this electromagnetic field generated by our physical heartbeat. So let's go ahead and imagine joining our electromagnetic field with Mother Earth's electromagnetic field. Like you're just going to give her a big hug. Feel yourself come deeply into this now moment, into present time. Just floating like a lotus flower in the most peaceful pond. Mother Earth, Gaia holding you. So just completely relax and release. Feeling the gentle lapping of the water against the edge of the land. Everything is harmony. You get far enough away from the earth and look back, everything is harmony. In the big picture, it's all okay. So let's just tap into that. The one vibration, the oneness vibration represented by Mother Earth Gaia. Gaia is all living beings on the earth as well as the earth. So we are a part of Gaia, but we've forgotten. So come back into that connection. And that's at Stanford University, the Heart Math Institute, they've proven that resonant frequency, which we're attaining right now by communicating with Mother Earth, heart resonant frequency brings peace to the people around you. Through studies, they've proven this. So it's a really, really powerful thing to be able to activate in your life. A simple way of bringing peace to the world. And just breathe into your heart. From above and below, cosmic energy just into your field. The love of the sun and the love of Mother Earth coming into your heart. And just below the area of the heart is the diaphragm in the bottom of the rib cage. There's a chakra here that nobody talks about. And this is called the secret chakra. And just go ahead and pay attention to any sensations that arise in that area of your body as we talk about the secret chakra. This is where we connect into universal support on a deep level. And it's been hidden from us around issues of the secrets. The secrets. If you've ever had lifetimes involved in not being able to keep dangerous secrets or keeping dangerous secrets from the wrong people or the right people, all of that energy, especially spiritual secrets, spiritual knowledge, this is clamped down. The chakra becomes clamped down from fear of responsibility, spiritual knowledge. So it often gets triggered as we step into the energy of activation. So go ahead and receive an energy wave for healing on that secret chakra. Just notice what you notice. So energies just begin to dissipate. And now breathe in energy into your secret chakra from above and below. The earth, like you have a breathing tube from the bottom chakra and the top chakra, crown and root. And you're going to breathe in air, light, and prana into this breathing tube and see it circulating around in that secret chakra, activating and awakening and reviving and enlivening, because this chakra is about communication with the cosmos, feeling absolutely held in this experience, part of the cosmic experience. And so go ahead and imagine there's a cord. Now that the chakra is beginning to activate, there is a filament cord available to the oneness consciousness. It's like goes like a baby's umbilical cord would go to the placenta, but this is the whole of everything. And just go ahead and feel yourself a baby again in the arms of the one consciousness creator, God, the love of the universe. Rebirth yourself in this Mars retrograde in Scorpio energy. Go into the shadow, into the underworld like Venus is right now, and rebirth yourself into a child of love once again. Reactivating your original innocence. Just breathing in air, light, and prana into the center of your being. Imagining communication between your heart chakra, your secret chakra, and your third chakra of personal power at the belly button. These chakras working together as the cosmic gateway to feeling that communication with Christ consciousness, to feeling that the universe is living through you and you are the universe, rather than playing out some sort of programming or agenda for the people around you, organizations, entities, or races of other beings. This is the most important thing we can do right now, is to learn to identify with the part of ourselves that is that original instance, the unperishable part, the part that cannot be tainted. It's the part, and this is so powerful. One of the things of this grand mutable cross, it's that changing, and everything's changing so fast. And so we could have avoided change. The last few years, we have choices to avoid change, but now we don't have choices to avoid change. But sometimes all that mutable and changeability makes you aware and open to connecting to the part of ourselves that doesn't change, the essence of us. So just go ahead and tap into that awareness as you're just imagine opening your heart to this still point, to this cosmic consciousness, that you take your consciousness into the portal of your heart, of your physical heart. Just feel yourself pulled in, arrive at the room behind your physical heart, and allow your physical heart portal to just pull you in to the sacred space of the heart, to still point, becoming 100% present. Be in this awareness that is just awareness. This awareness that perceives everything that happens and knows everything that happens for you, but is unattached and neutral. This part of yourself that is ecstatic at existing life itself is an ever-expanding experience of drinking from the fountain, drinking the nectar of life from the never-ending fountain. All of the mechanisms and programming and things in our world to keep us down don't mean anything when we are in connection to the cosmic source in this way. When we feel ourselves as that awareness and we put our attention there, all of the psychological stories and patterns and everything that's happening, they're still there, but they're not the truth of who you are. And so this is the most powerful tool right now in this time, as we come against all these energies and our core issues are coming to the surface and the wheel is spinning and the mud is flinging. And so this is the most powerful tool we can do, is to go into our heart, feel the oneness consciousness, feel that place where it's hard to even think a thought because you're just pure awareness. And for who is it hard to think a thought? Who even notices whether you're thinking or not? Go to that place. Consciousness existing as consciousness, fully expressed in your being as your true self. And from this heart-centered consciousness, go ahead and imagine this timeline out in front of you. And just let this timeline be a linear experience for organizational purposes. And I'd like you to find 1, 2, or 3 points on this timeline that are lighting up, that are available resets for optimal in your life. So go ahead and look at the first one all the way to the left, or the one that's the oldest. And you don't have to look at it, just see the light and feel into the light. What does this light mean for you? Was this a lifetime where you were fully expressing the truth of who you were? Where you were appreciated by your community for the gifts that you bring? Where you were fully supported by the universe? So let's just go ahead and let those 3 points come forward. 1 point where you were fully expressing the truth of who you were, the gifts your true soul gifts on planet Earth. And just feel into that place on your timeline. Feel into the feeling of being like right at the right place at the right time on the planet. And then the second point of light on the timeline is a time in your Earth experience in a body and physical Earth where you are completely supported by your community. The people around you were, thank you for bringing forward these gifts. Just feel that. Receive an energy wave for that feeling of being completely supported by the people around you to bring forward your most precious inner gifts. And then the third point on the timeline where you felt in connection with cosmic source and supported in your expression, held by the universal energies and cosmic energies, working in tandem with these cosmic energies rather than against. So go ahead and receive an energy wave on this point on your timeline where you felt completely supported by universal energies to express yourself in this world, express your true gifts. In a physical body on planet Earth. And just go ahead and take this timeline and let's just do an exercise where you can bring this timeline, start spiraling it around like a snake or a spiral, and just see where these points of light overlap with each other. And find if there's one lifetime, one place where you can zone in on having all three of those lights, this very powerful light resonating with being completely expressing the truth of your gifts, planet Earth, being completely supported by the people around you, and completely supported by the universe. And just feel that feeling of being held on all levels, a platform for you to bring forward your most precious gifts within you, your expression of the divine that nobody else can do just the way you can do. Feel that reset happening. Receive an energy wave for that point of light where all three of these timelines come into resonance of support and connection with the cosmos and Mother Earth. Supported by your community at the right place at the right time, doing exactly what you wanted to be doing in this lifetime. Just receive that energy wave for exactly what you want to be doing, even though you don't know what that is. We're in some nebulous territory, but we know what it feels like to wake up and be excited about the day that lies ahead. Our gifts are our greatest service to the world. When we're fully satisfied in our being and bringing forward our gifts, that's when we bring the best medicine to the planet. It's not when we sacrifice, when we're super tired. Did you work hard enough? Are you good enough? Did you make enough money? When you stack all that stuff up, it just doesn't matter. What really matters is peace of mind and living an authentic life. So go ahead and claim those things for yourself right now as you bring your attention through your heart back up into your third eye, connecting your heart and your third eye. Just imagine you can see right out from your third eye like a projector with your eyes closed. You could see with your eyes closed, projecting yourself into the world. Feel that future. feel, see, and know, receive any information, images. As you look down this future, you look down this third eye alignment, this timeline alignment of these three timelines resonating together in order for your future timeline to come into this powerful frequency. Go ahead and just pluck that wire, that timeline like a cord, bring it into tune. Bring your whole being, cell by cell, into tune with this feeling of a fully activated life, fully fulfilled, doing just what you want to be doing on planet Earth, not compromising for anybody, anytime, except for to bring forward your gifts and to be true to cosmic source within you. This seeing into the future, feeling in your whole being, receiving an energy wave to align to this timeline, the most appropriate timeline that feels like this. Go ahead and pluck that timeline again, that wire, and let fall off any of the issues, energies, patterns that are coming up right now for review, and just see that that's what's happening. They're coming up so you can cleanse this timeline and hone in instead of having all these parts of yourself and scattered around in these different timelines, all over fractured as a soul throughout the universe. Come right here, right now. Planet Earth, it's very important to be present in our entirety, in our soul right now for this amazing experience that's happening. So go ahead and commit yourself to present time in your life, giving yourself a little bit more time in the moment, etching it out day by day, 5 more minutes here, 5 more minutes there, to just be in the truth of who you are. Just taking a few deep breaths, breathing in air, light, and prana, sending this activation cell by cell throughout your whole being, particularly in the brain where there needs to be an awakening of the numbness, the shadow, the hidden parts of our subconscious. We're sending the light in to all the darkest, heaviest places, the light of truth. Cell by cell, getting the message. It's time to resonate at optimal. It's time to resonate at universal support. It's time to resonate at fully living and expressing the inner gifts that you would like to express. That fully activated life available in the not so distant future once we get through this muck. If we can take it and use it to our full advantage, everything that's coming up right now, use it to boomerang with your personal power and will intact, saying, no, I'm going to do it this way now. So feel that in your whole being and ground that into Mother Earth. I'm going to do it this way now. Honoring myself and my peace first. So as things come up, go ahead and use the opportunity to stop and be like, well, what's the opposite of this situation? Like, how would it feel if it were optimal? And entertain that for a moment in your field. Entertain whether or not you are ready to let go of the addiction of that drama, of that pattern, of the security of the repeating pattern. And little by little, carving out that peace of mind, carving out that now moment, that deep meditation, carving out room for you in the truth of who you really are, and then allowing for your life to gradually reset and make more space for that peace, that deep peace, and surrender into the changes that need to happen for that life of simplicity and peace that is the foundation of really living. First, we have to surrender, come out of the addiction of our patterns, be willing to entertain a different frequency. What would your life be like without that pattern? Would you be bored? Would you even know what to do with yourself? It's kind of like the prisoners being set free and then having to set commandments in order to figure out how to govern themselves because they don't know how to be free. Can we break free as a civilization, or are we addicted to the chains that we're in by this corporate world? That starts with us claiming that spiritual peace, that still point, that authentic life, that vibrational frequency of optimal. So go ahead and receive an energy wave for optimal as you just bring your whole being back into your body, taking a few deep breaths, breathing in air, light, and prana, feeling your activated field coming into alignment with this powerful T-square that's happening and the new moon in just a few minutes. It's okay for you to really live and align with the truth, your cosmic truth, become more and more valuable as we move through these years. So why not forge the way and value yourself enough to give yourself that life, demonstrate what's possible, make room, and you don't even have to try too hard because that's what the universe is doing right now, showing you all the stuff that doesn't fit into that new paradigm. So just go with it and be like, oh yeah, there it is. Okay, it's showing me the opposite. I'm going to entertain optimal. I'm going to just go ahead and clean this up at the pace I can handle in this Mars retrograde, letting things unfold, letting cosmic consciousness work in your life and resolve these issues without you having to attach yourself to them or make them the truth of who you are. So what we're doing is we're restoring our identity right now. We have this opportunity, this timeline adjustment and higher vibrational frequency alignment is restoring our identity connection with the one truth of all that is. That's what wants to work in our life and do all the beautiful gifts, the individual things, but it's that, not our individuality and our personality. That part of us is attached to what it means to the outside world. And the part of us that's true doesn't care at all. It just wants to express that truth. And so we've been thinking that our ego personality is really who we are, but it's actually our gifts and our divine nature that's really what we are. So we're revaluing, re-identifying ourselves. And so why not be on the edge of that wave of representing to this world the value of the invisible, the value of the goddess, the value of peace of mind and clarity of purpose and vibrational frequency and truth in the expression of the gifts of this world and what we're really here to do. So good luck with that. Stand up to the man in your life. Be disclosure. Let yourself face what's not working and surrender into letting go, because it's like we can't fight for the man anymore. We can't spend our time fighting for this old paradigm and the old patterns. These are all stories. And so we're breaking the code and we're breaking the storyline. We're breaking our addiction to these stories. And we're saying, hey, could we let ourselves do it differently? Could we feel like we're held here, like we're on an adventure where we're learning and growing, but that, like, the things that happen around us like that, that's not the truth of who we are. The truth of who we are is the cosmic source and its expression that it wants to be. And I'm going to focus on that and see what my life looks like. So go ahead and take a few deep breaths, completing your meditation just as you're ready, staying in heart-centered consciousness as long as feels comfortable, in that still point, in that communication with Mother Earth Gaia. This is available for you at any moment. And just remind yourself of that Feeling that deep grounded connection with Mother Earth as you finish up your meditation, taking a few deep breaths, gradually coming into your everyday awareness, into the room, coming out of meditation. So thank you so much for joining me on this most powerful activation that I've ever done as far as the energies in the planet and the stars right now. And so when a group of us comes together and really pays attention and takes full advantage of, like, our life depends on it, like the other astrologer said, of these energies, and seeking to understand, this Gemini energy really wants to understand and to illuminate the truth. And it sets a powerful energy for the world around us to be present and to listen to the stars, to listen to the energies that are playing out in the universe around us, and taking advantage of these upgrades and downloads and knowing when these shifts are happening, to be really present and pay attention. So thank you so much for being a part of this activation, and go ahead and share it with your friends. I look forward to connecting with you next time. Namaste.